What's going on? Matt Savoca here from Awesemo.com, bringing you the DraftKings Sunday Night Football Divisional Round Contenders video. This is Buffalo Bills versus Kansas City Chiefs, the matchup I personally have been looking forward to all season long. The heavyweight bout of the AFC here, and who cares that it happens in the divisional round instead of the conference championship? That's just the way the seeding works out this year. These are two of the most exciting teams in the league, and I want to see them meet in January every single year. Before we get into this one though, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel so that you know when we're going live. You guys know what to do. And if you could give me, Matt Savoca, a follow on Twitter at Draftaholic, that would be much appreciated as well. We'd also like to thank our presenting sponsor, FanUp. FanUp has a Flexball NFL playoff contest, which is featuring $200,000 to first place, and you can pick a new team every single week of the playoffs. And there's also prizes you can win each week, like authenticated NFL jerseys from Fanatics. And here's the best part. When you use promo code Awesemo to sign up, you can get 2,000 bonus points, the equivalent of $20 to bet, without a deposit. That's fantastic. Last thing here, when you use 3 entries into that Flex Ball playoff contest, you will get $25 off as well. So remember that promo code Awesemo and sign up for FanUp today. Okay guys, on the screen, you will see my 10 through 6 of my top plays on DraftKings for this single game slate. A really exciting showdown slate at that. And at 10, 9, and 8, our first run at trying to find that value play, that auxiliary option that you're going to need if you want to get to multiple premium salary options, and you're going to have them hit in ways that they don't typically hit here. Number 10 is Byron Pringle, 21% chance of being in the optimal lineup. He had a big game last week, and sometimes you see repeat performances from tertiary options on the Chiefs, but not that often. Harrison Butker is more of a high floor, low ceiling play, but the salary and median projection is right to get him in the optimal lineup 22% of the time. You can play kickers on teams who are home favorites. It's really that simple. The implied team total being very high is also very nice. Jerick McKinnon, he is going to split work with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Really, that is the biggest question mark about this game flow, really. What does the backfield in Kansas City look like with Clyde Edwards-Helaire activated for this game once again? Still, Jerick McKinnon most likely gets usage. Looked like the most explosive back last week, that's for sure. He's in the optimal lineup 23% of the time. Dawson Knox also had a huge game last week. He's in the optimal lineup 25% of the time. Still some variability with his usage. Players like Gabriel Davis and Cole Beasley sometimes eat into his workload, but Dawson Knox, clearly a red zone favorite of Josh Allen. He's in at number 7. He's clearly the second favorite tight end. Of course, when you got Travis Kelce on the slate, he is going to be a valuable option. Kelce, even at a $9,000 salary on DraftKings, has a 7.5% chance of being an optimal captain play, and another 28% of the time he's showing up as an optimal flex. He is an optimal play 36% of the time. He doesn't quite crack the top 5 though. Who does? Let's watch and find out. At number 5, running back Devin Singletary, Buffalo Bills. And it's wild to see Singletary, or really any running back for the Bills, have a salary near Travis Kelce on a single game slate. Are you kidding me? But that's the way it is when you've got a running back on a team that's scoring so many points. I mean, the Bills have won their last 4 games by an average of 35 points. You want to play bell cow running backs on that team. And 16 total opportunities or more in 4 straight games for Devin Singletary coincides with that massive point differential against their opponents here in the last 4 games. So the ceiling isn't necessarily fantastic. It's only like a 4-5% chance at maximum that Singletary scores 30 fantasy points, but the median projection is really where it looks really solid for Singletary. Nearly 15 points as a median projection. You're kind of going to have to decide between Singletary at 8,800 and Travis Kelce at 9K. Preferring Travis Kelce isn't the craziest thing I've heard. But Singletary is going to get that guaranteed volume where he could absolutely outscore Kelce. I mean, Kelce has superstar teammates he needs to compete with for production every single week. So I'm not surprised to see Singletary, especially as an optimal flex play, nearly 29% of the time. He just edges out Kelce in the optimal lineup 36% of the time. At number 4, it's Tyreek Hill, and our projections don't seem to care that Tyreek Hill is more in salary, 1,000 more in salary than his teammate Travis Kelce. We think that the ceiling projection, that 28% chance of scoring 30 fantasy points, is worth chasing here. The median projection at that high salary is not going to win you tournaments here. It may not kill you, but especially when you're paying up there, you really need him to have an otherworldly score, something like 25, 30 fantasy points. So it's really good to see a quarter of our simulations showing just that. Tyreek Hill makes a lot of sense as a captain play for me as well. So I'm very happy to see that our optimal lineup percentages have him as an 11% chance of being that optimal captain, because when he gets that ceiling score, he may have a ceiling score that's maybe 10 points more than any other skill position player. He has that 40-point ceiling in this game, even against a very tough Buffalo Bills defense that ranked number 1 in the NFL in yards allowed per pass attempt. Tyreek Hill is also a super safe option at the flex. He has a 31% chance of being in the optimal flex play there. Yeah, I like him really in all phases here. I don't think the heel is really an issue anymore. He is in the optimal lineup 43% of the time. At number 3, it's Stefon Diggs, wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. And Stefon Diggs was not utilized enough last week, and I get it. It was an onslaught. They were absolutely cruising, absolutely crushing. You don't show a lot of your playbook here, but you're going to need to get Stefon Diggs much more involved than 3 receptions for 60 yards against the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend. And so Stefon Diggs is kind of that choice. He's 9,800. Kelce is 9,000. Devin Singletary is 8,800. Tyreek Hill is a little bit more at 10,000. So you're kind of in this decision point place. And I think Stefon Diggs has an easier matchup against the Kansas City secondary that improved over the second half of the year, but is still just league average in terms of defensive efficiency. Tyreek Hill is dealing with a tougher matchup against the Buffalo Bills, who are top 5 in the NFL in most defensive metrics, especially against the pass. So I'm really excited about that 21% chance of scoring 30 fantasy points, a little bit lower than Hill, but not really that much lower, especially when you're talking about playing multiple lineups here. Stefon Diggs is one of the players I am going to take a stand on and be over the field on, even more than this optimal lineup percentage. He is in the optimal lineup just more than Tyreek Hill, 43% of the time. At number 2, Patrick Mahomes, quarterback, Kansas City Chiefs. Tough matchup, fantastic player. And you can say that Patrick Mahomes had a down year if you want to, I guess, but a down year for Patrick Mahomes looks like 5th in fantasy points per game among quarterbacks, 5th in total QBR, 1st in expected points added, 1st in player profilers accuracy rating. Basically, the more advanced the metric you look at, the more impressive a season that Patrick Mahomes actually had, which leads me to believe that a lot of that down production, especially in the middle of the season, was mostly variance. And guess what? The team didn't stop winning. They have won 10 of their last 11 games here. Mahomes absolutely has a have-to-have-it score in his range of outcomes here. While it may not be the number 1 play, Mahomes might be the number 1 player in this game. I mean, all credit to the other quarterback on the other side and the way he's been playing lately, but Mahomes has been the cream of the crop at the quarterback position over the last 3 seasons. And in 36% of our latest simulations, he's scoring 30 fantasy points or more. A 23-point median projection, that's fine. That's not super impressive. It's really about the fact that we think that Buffalo is going to score. We think this game is a great game environment for passing, and that Patrick Mahomes is good enough to overcome that tough matchup against the Buffalo Bills. So not surprised to see Patrick Mahomes sneaking into that number 2 spot in the optimal lineup 56% of the time. Now, before I reveal my number 1 play on DraftKings for this Sunday night football slate, just want to remind you guys to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel so that you always know when we're going live. You guys know what to do. And if you guys could give me, Matt Savoca, a follow on Twitter at Draftaholic, that would be much appreciated as well. We'd also like to thank our presenting sponsor one more time, FanUp. They've got that Flex Ball playoff contest. They've got weekly prizes like authenticated NFL jerseys from Fanatics, and they've got promo code Awesemo, which gets you 2,000 bonus points upon sign up. No deposit required. That's what I'm talking about. Sign up for FanUp today, and let's get into that number one play on DraftKings. And at number one, I bet you could have guessed it, Josh Allen is playing out of his mind right now. 39 fantasy points, actually more on DraftKings, over 40 DraftKings fantasy points with that 300 yards bonus, because he hit 300 yards passing on just 25 pass attempts. That's 12 yards per attempt for those doing the math at home. That's insane numbers. 5 passing touchdowns, another 66 yards on the ground. In fact, he's had over 60 yards rushing in all 4 of his last 4 starts. That's a 20-point fantasy floor for him. So the median projection of 25 fantasy points, that's fantastic. A 7.6% chance of scoring under 10 fantasy points, that's not happening. And a 46% chance of scoring over 30 fantasy points. That's what you're going to need at a $12,000 salary if you're choosing to play Allen in tournaments here. Hey, there's always risk with playing high salary players in tournaments. You got to have him score at that ceiling level, but I think it happens here against a Kansas City Chiefs defense that is just league average. I think that the Buffalo Bills pull off the upset on the back of a massive performance from Josh Allen. He's in the optimal lineup 61% of the time. And that is gonna do it for this divisional round Sunday Night Football edition of the DraftKings Contenders video. If you're looking for the FanDuel version of this video, go ahead and look for it. It's on the channel here somewhere. We will be back with all of the conference championship content you could possibly want on Awesemo.com and here on the YouTube channel. Until then, I'm Matt Savoca. We'll see you guys next time.